An Italian political story about the siphoning of funds to a political party has had its backwash on the Indian scene today. Charge sheets were filed yesterday by an Italian prosecutor by the Attorney General's office about payments made by Finmeccanica, an Italian defense company, allegedly for a contract for VVIP helicopters, 12 helicopters that were sold to India. And the name that came up in this was that of one of India's former air chiefs, Air Chief Marshal Shashi Tyagi. The man at the eye of the storm is here. Air Chief Marshal, thank you for joining us on this show. The first question that comes up in an allegation like that is that of motivation. Why would this company pay you this alleged amount?
Oh, Ajay, I would like to know why would they like to pay me, because I am assuming that any payment made is for a consideration, or they expect something in return. What is it that I could have done? I really don't know.
They say that the allegation, of course, is that you changed the specifications of the helicopter from 18,000 feet down to 15,000 feet, which allowed this AgustaWestland AW101 helicopter to also figure in the tender.
Okay, great. Yes, that is the allegation, that I changed the requirements, and the word used was tweaked the requirements, so that AgustaWestland could actually take part in this competition and be part of the tendering process. The truth is this: in the year 2000, the Indian Air Force realized that the Mi-8 helicopters, which were doing VIP duties, their life, they had a limited life. They were also getting old, and it can cause a scandal if the Prime Minister stranded on the ground because the aircraft doesn't start. If the SPG is left behind, it will lead to a great security situation if the Prime Minister moves ahead and the SPG is left behind. So we need,
heaven forbid, if an old
yes, I don't even want to think of that. What I am trying to say is that well in advance, the Indian Air Force decided that we needed a replacement for the VIP Mi-8s that were doing duty at that time. Well, in the year 2000,
were you associated with that decision?
No.
That was somebody else?
That was somebody else. Okay. A decision was taken, and some requirements of what kind of requirement helicopter do we need were written out. You may recall that in the year 2000, the then Defense Minister George Fernandes used to often visit Siachen. So one of the consideration was that we must buy a helicopter which will take VIPs to Siachen. Now that made it demanding, because when you talk of a VIP helicopter, Mr. Fernandes used to go in a Cheetah Chetak, which is a single engine job. Truly for VIP we need at least 2 engines for safety purposes. So the requirement was 18,000 feet and other safety requirements which the Indian Air Force put. They also put technical requirements of what should be the weight and what should be the thrust and whatever. It so transpires that at that time, and as you know, Ajay, not many people produce helicopters that will fly at 18,000 feet or operate.
There was only one in the world.
There was only one, to the best of my knowledge.
That was which one?
That was a Eurocopter. I don't know which model that was. In fact, I was not involved in the process. But it was one of the Eurocopter machines that met the requirement. Immediately, 2 problems arose. One is, there is a single vendor, and obviously when you have only one vendor available, pricing and what should it cost becomes a tricky thing.
The government, the Ministry of Defense doesn't want to get into a single vendor
It is not that we don't sign single vendor contracts. We do, but they are best avoided. Let me also say that in this particular case, the government could have gone ahead. If we need a helicopter that will fly at 18,000, and if there is only one vendor, then let's go and buy it. But there was another problem. The SPG said that the height in the cabin, the total height available for a man to stand in the cabin was low. That means you have to actually bend down. And what they said is, our SPG guys are nice big fellas. They must be able to stand straight, and they must be able to stand with a weapon in their hand.
I also understand that there are other special fitments that need to be fitted, and when you do that, then this helicopter becomes so heavy that it can't go up to 18,000.
Well, that was, I don't know whether that was the only consideration. That too must have been a consideration, and I am guessing here, Ajay, because I was not part of the system then. Right. All I know is, this I know for sure.
So it was decided that we need to bring in more helicopters.
Well, the story is like this. The then PMO, in fact, the then PS to the Prime Minister, Mr. Brijesh Mishra, in my view, very rightly, took a professional call and said, look, we are stuck with only a single helicopter, and that does not even suit the SPG. So, in any case, in a sense, we are now got no helicopter which will really meet all our requirements. So, if we don't meet these requirements, then let's change the requirement.
So you're saying, if I understand you correctly, that it was definitely not your decision. It was no less than from the Prime Minister's office, the Prime Minister's National Security Advisor and Principal Secretary Brijesh Mishra, who said, we need to get a helicopter that is more practical.
That is correct. So, therefore, so they changed the height from 18,000 feet to 15. So, why 15? Why not 16? Why not 14? The idea was some debate took place, and I've not seen the documents. I mean, I know
you were not involved.
No,
in
no, I wasn't. That 15,000 was changed not because somebody was favoring some company, but because they said, okay, let's get a helicopter which will cross the Zojila Pass, for example. You know, these were some of the factors.
So, which will be able to make it move from the Kashmir Valley into Ladakh.
Into the Ladakh Valley. But obviously, Siachen was ruled out. Circumstances forced it. So, one of the things, the SPG also said, what about this cabin height? So, another requirement that was brought in was it must have a minimum cabin height. I don't remember the figure, but there was some figure given, 6 feet so many inches or whatever that figure was. So, these two changes were the essential changes made. Now, the third thing that was said by the PMO was, hey, you guys have not consulted the SPG enough.
The special protection group that looks after
that is
Prime
correct.
Minister.
They will be travelling with the VIPs, and they must have a say on what goes into the aircraft, what should be the aircraft design. So, the SPG obviously are not experts on aeroplanes. They are experts on security. So, they had nothing to say about the height and or the altitude at which operating altitude of the aircraft, or what the technical specification should be. They had a lot to say about what the fitment should be.
Bulletproofing
and such like things.
Right.
So, in 2003 really this height got changed. It was
And 1 second, let me also, apart from this important point you make, that it was not you, it was somebody even higher than the air chief, it was the Prime Minister's office. The other point that is important here is that it is not the UPA government, it was the NDA government that actually initiated this process of changing the requirements.
Ajay, as far as I am concerned, yes, it was the NDA. But frankly, which was the government in power, to my way of thinking is irrelevant, because my view is that it was, the decision was on professional grounds. So, whichever government was in power. But it is true that for the record, it was the NDA government.
But as a professional Air Force officer, it makes little difference to you which government.
Because remember, I was at a much later date, I was the chief of the Indian Air Force, not chief of NDA or Congress. You know, it really makes no difference.
We get the point.
Okay, so these changes came, and then from 2003 onwards, may I also say that for all other equipment, technical requirements, the Air Force is the boss. You know, supposing if you were to buy a fighter aircraft, largely it will be the Air Force's opinion that will matter. But this was a VIP helicopter, it had no operational role.
So, a lot
had to do with SPG. Now, for SPG will never come in for purchase of anything else. So, why did we ask, why was the Prime Minister's office writing? Because they were an involved party. I am not suggesting, please don't, you know, we can still start pointing fingers. But it was just the way it should be a team effort, and it was.
Right. When the NDA government handed over power to the UPA government after the 2004 elections, did this process undergo any significant change, or did it just continue the way it was going?
Ajay, I only joined the Air Headquarters in 2005, on 1st January.
As chief?
As the chief. Till then I was out of the Air Headquarters, and therefore out of this business of procurement, because in operational commands you don't deal with it. May I say...
Before that you were in the Western Air Command.
I was in Western Air Command, before that in Southwestern Air Command, etc. My submission is that from the time I joined, it is just a process. Now, I frankly, it didn't matter who was in power. It was a process, the process was being followed. In 2003...
And I come back to the question, when the governments changed, was there any significant change, or did it continue smoothly?
No, there was a continuity. There was a continuity of thought. The requirement of altitude had already been agreed upon by in 2003 for good reasons, as I have explained. Now, the debate actually that was going on when I joined was between the SPG's requirement. For example, SPG said, let's put an armor plate. It is very good, no bullet will come inside the cockpit, the cabin, but the Air Force said, just 1 minute, it will become a tank, it's not an aeroplane anymore.
Become too heavy.
It will too heavy, it will not be able to operate at the heights we want it to. They said, we want a particular type of chair, which will, will give some kind of bulletproofing to the chair. Then again, the weight issues came up. So there was a debate.
So all of this was going on while you were the air chief?
Yes.
When did this debate finish and the arrangements and the specifications finally get formalized?
I can't put a date to it, I can't remember it, Ajay. Also, please understand, the chief personally does not deal with these things. There is a separate department, the deputy chief department, which corresponds with all these people. The major decisions come up to the chief, obviously. So I can't say when it happened.
But the RFP, or the request for proposals, the tender, was put out in 2006.
That is correct.
So by 2006, this
Everything was
process had
finalized.
come to a final conclusion.
Yeah.
Right.
See, please understand one thing. As far as the aircraft QRs were concerned, the requirements were concerned, virtually, if I may use the term, by 2003 they were frozen, because there were no changes made thereafter. Thereafter, only changes were in fitments. So actually, whichever aircraft you buy, you can keep fitting whatever you want. It's not, that's not a difficult process. But when you send the RFP, you have to tell the producer of the aeroplane, I will be fitting the following things, so that he can say that my aircraft will take it or not take it.
So the point you're making here is, A, that a lot of the decisions were driven from the Prime Minister's
That's
office and from the Special Protection Group, and you as Air Chief were just controlling the process and doing the technical part of the specifications.
Absolutely correct.
Now, given all of this, is there some way that these three cousins who have been named as acting as proxies for you in the receipt of funds, what would they have said that give us money for?
I would like to know myself, Ajay, because I'm somewhat confused. As I say, the requirement, one of the charge is that the money came through my cousins to me. This is the charge. And it came to tweak the requirement. Actually, history seems to suggest that the requirements were actually frozen in 2003.
The requirements were not tweaked.
Thereafter, for the record, let me keep the record straight. From 1st January 2005, when I became the chief, to 31st March 2007, when I retired, not a single requirement change was even recommended by the Air Headquarters. Please understand, Air Headquarters can only recommend, it cannot change.
And you did not even recommend?
We did not even recommend the change. So the changes are to be made only by the ministry, albeit on somebody's recommendation, and Air Headquarters can recommend. But I want to tell you, and this must be clearly understood, that Air Headquarters never recommended any changes. So, whatever change, in other words, when people say that I may have made or tweaked this, it is not, it is not possible, because Air Headquarters cannot do it.
Let me approach this a different way. These three cousins of yours who are alleged to have received money,
Right.
Is it possible that without your knowing, they went to the company and said, well, we're the cousins of the Air Chief, and if you want your requirements going the way that you want to, we're very close to him, so why don't you pay us? Is that a possibility? Were they that close to you?
No. Okay, I hate talking family matters, but this needs to be said. Please understand that in 1999, due to some family reasons, our relations broke.
With these three cousins?
With these cousins, this family. They are the cousins' family, with the entire family. The relations broke, and from 99 for 7 years virtually, there was no contact. There was no contact, zero. Sometimes towards the end of 2006, their father became ill, and I went to check how they were doing. And the first tentative contacts started sometimes in the last 4-5 months of my job as a chief.
So you make an important point here. You say that for the most of the time when you were chief, You had no contact at all
None,
with
zero,
these cousins?
zero contact. Except in the last
Not
4
even a
months.
phone call?
No, zero contact. In the last
Because of a family issue?
family thing, you know. In fact, till their dad died sometimes in Jan or Feb of 2007, because the old man was very annoyed with me for whatever reasons I don't want to go into. The fact is, we had very tentative family relations. So I will have some difficulty, and this was a very well known fact amongst the family, amongst the friends and all that, and therefore I have some doubts about they are using my name, because actually our contacts were only in the last few. By then I think, I will tell you what, the RFP and all had gone. So I don't see how this could have happened.
Now, these three people whose names are being bandied about as not your cousins but the arms dealers, Juido Hashke, Michael Christian and so on, did you know any of them personally?
Well, when I say no, I met the guy called Carlo, for example, I met. Havido. I met them at my cousin's place. But for Carlo, I met him about 20 years ago, okay, the first time. And then when the relationship with my cousins broke, well, since they were not my friends, I never met them.
So you met them in the 1990s?
1990s and subsequently after 2007, after my retirement.
After your retirement?
Because some wedding
But
in the family.
at that stage, they would not have any incentive to pay you?
No, never. They didn't even know where I was headed. I was actually medically unfit and I had nothing to do with them.
So from the time that the issue of the new helicopters came up, till the time that you retired as air chief, you never met these three people?
No.
Carlo Gerossi,
No.
Guido Hashke,
No.
and Michael
No.
Christian.
I can't, because I would have remembered it if I had. But I met him immediately after retirement in that phase. Now I can't put an exact date. Let me also tell you, when I say met, you meet any number of people. What is important, and it is important to state this, they never contacted me about anything. By then, in any case, I was retired or retiring or retired, or the RFP had already been issued. I am saying specific to this case. Frankly, I had no role. I did not have a role earlier because it was handled at the highest level in the country. Air headquarters did not have a role. And once the RFP goes on, there is a process, there is a...
And then in any case, every officer wants to keep them at...
Yeah, well, it will be wrong to, suggest anything.
Air Chief Marshal Tyagi, today we are seeing the BJP government, I beg your pardon, the BJP opposition berate the government for its delay in taking action on all of this. Would you say that there is some truth in this, that the government should have reacted a little earlier, it should have ordered an inquiry earlier, or do you believe that, well, it's moved at the right time?
Look, I have been a soldier, so I will not get into politics. It does not interest me what BJP says or Congress says or anybody else says, NDA says or UPA says. I want to stay out of this argument. Suffice it to say only one thing. Whether they should have ordered an inquiry or not, I am not in a position to comment, because I don't have all the facts. What were the facts available to them? Now, if we were to say the facts that were available to the newspapers were also available to them, I mean, in the sense from the newspaper at least. If you say that they did nothing, I will have some difficulty with it, because to the best of my knowledge, they ordered, so says the papers. I mean, I can only quote, I am not privy to the officials.
They asked the
They
embassy.
conducted an internal, and this is the standard procedure, Ajay. When the media reports, you just can't go to sleep and say nothing has happened, because it can get dicey. So you always carry out an internal, and in this case, I know some internal investigations were carried out. Why, what, when are they supposed to order, how they will do, what were their inputs, I am not privy to that. But I do not believe for a minute that the government just sat and did nothing.
But do you believe that there's a possibility of undue, especially given the fact that we're in a pre-election year, a possibility of great politicization of the story and, the government coming under undue
in this
pressure?
case, if you want to dig a well in my village, there is politics. Kiske mohalle mein hoga wo? So I just don't want to get into political discussion, Ajay. All I want to actually talk about is facts. The facts are, if requirements, if the charges, some money was paid for changing the requirements, Not true, because Air headquarters had nothing to do with any changes. This was done, and I've told you why it was done.
Right. Let me, you don't want to get into Indian politics, but the real fact is that this story is primarily an Italian political story. There are payments that were made, alleged to have been made in Italian politics to certain parties for their support, and this deal was used as a vehicle for siphoning off money. Is there anything that you must have been tracking these developments?
Well, I'll tell you what, I read the papers, I also try to follow it. As far as the Italians are concerned, they are not arresting people because they paid bribes in India. They are arresting people because they have siphoned off from this deal, and how they have done it, I have no idea. How they will justify it, I have no idea on paper, but some monies have been obviously pulled out from this and distributed to, amongst others, some political parties, because the sums involved are fairly large.
And there is in such deals a war chest almost, as it were, for making facilitation payments and so on. Do you entirely rule out the possibility that some facilitation payments might have been made on the Indian side?
I have no evidence or no inkling to suggest also that some payments were made. There is this case, you cannot get away from it, Ajay. There is this case, and there have been names, including mine, taken. Now, what is this in aid of? I really don't know. I wish I knew. And the only thing is that the inquiry can now determine this.
There are three chiefs. There's you, after you, Air Chief Marshal Fali Major, after that Air Chief Marshal Naik, during whose tenure the contract was inked. There is no naming of those two chiefs. Yes. Is there any thought that you have about why you specifically were named and not them, especially given the fact that the contract was not signed in your tenure?
Because for whatever reasons given are, that the money was paid to change the requirements. Now, the requirements could only be changed before the RFP
and that was before your time.
Well, from the company's viewpoint, if they have to justify siphoning off any funds, they will have to say payments are being made to change the requirements.
You're making an important point here.
I'm just guessing.
But that's an important piece of logic that you're putting forward. Let me just spell it out for our viewers. You're saying it could well be that the people who were making the payment had put out a false reason for making the payment, while those payments may not have actually been made at all.
I am saying the allegation, and this is the allegation. So, we are now getting legal. Name has been taken, including mine. The allegation is, why was the money paid? Money was paid to change the requirement. And I have just told you, but I couldn't have changed the requirement. The requirement was changed in 2003. So, then I smell a rat. Also, the whole case is about funding the Italian political party, some political scandal
diversion
in Italy.
Of funds
so diversion of funds from here. Some people say that funds were taken out so that this guy could get the top job there. I don't know the facts, but I smell a rat. Now, there is something that is happening. What it is, frankly, I don't know.
Air Chief Marshal Tyagi there arguing that there was no motivation at all for making a payment to him. The requirements were framed before he became Air Chief. The contract was signed after he became Air Chief. No substantive decision on this contract other than a mere framing of specifications regarding fitment items for the protection of the Prime Minister was made while he was Chief. At the personal level, this is something that he feels sad about. Well, we wish this case blows over. We wish you all the best, and thank you.
Thank you, Ajay. Thank you very much.